Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Matt Tuck from Bull of My Valentine, and you're listening to Blunt.
Oh, how about this for a big one? I have Matt Tuck from Bullet for My Valentine right here on Blunt. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Super stoked to be coming back to Oz, man. It's been a while, so we're
Oh,
ready.
we are very much looking forward to it. And you're doing the 20th anniversary of the Poison. If you look back to 20 years ago, Matt, did you think it would still be holding its own to this day?
In all honesty, probably not. Not because we didn't believe it would be, but we were just so young, inexperienced, naive, and just going with the flow with what was happening in our lives at that moment. It was such a chaotic time when that album came out that we were just along for the ride. We weren't actually not enjoying it, or we were definitely not enjoying the moment because it was just chaos. We didn't expect the album to kind of do what it did. It just exploded everywhere, not just here in the UK and Europe, but all across the world, in Australia and North America and South America, and it was just mad. So no,
Yeah.
we were holding on for dear life, and we were just happy that we got the opportunity to make the album we'd always dreamed of doing as from when we were kids. And yeah, we were just kind of along for the ride.
Oh, I love that right there. So, what are your most fondest memories from back then, Matt?
There's so many. I think, just getting the opportunity to make the album was the start of everything. We had a dream of being a band and getting a record deal and playing shows and supporting all our heroes as most kind of young aspiring musicians do. Just getting the album out was the biggest dream come true moment ever. That was the start of everything. And then selling out shows in the UK and across Europe, and then, having invitations to join our heroes like Metallica and Maiden and Guns N' Roses on their massive arena tours, and being invited to play massive festival stages. And there's so many. It's just like every kind of box you would be wanting to tick as a dream, as a young boy or a young girl aspiring to be kind of a rock star. We did it on the very first album, which is it's so rare, but something that we look back on with extreme pride. And yeah, it's such an amazing time.
Yeah, that is insane. And 20 years later, here you are playing it in its
Here we
entirety,
are.
doing your biggest Australian headline run yet. What made now the right time? I do believe also this is the last time you're going to be doing these shows as well, isn't it, Matt?
Yes, it is. We've got something which is going to be announced very shortly, and then that kind of gave us the green light to see if we could make it happen in Australia, so people can connect the dots then of why this has been able to happen. We're just glad we can make it happen. It's going to be the last time we're ever going to do it. We've already the last time we're ever going to do it in North America, UK, Europe. That's all happened this year. That's done. An opportunity came up recently. We took it, and then, like I said, that gave us the green light to come over to Oz and just kind of have one last dance for you guys.
Oh, nice. Very much intrigued. Well, how did the rest of the world take to it? Was it like just old school nostalgic vibes? What was the vibe of
Yeah.
playing it all these years on?
Yeah, it was very much the same as kind of most metal shows, energy and pets and
Yeah.
all that kind of cool stuff. The vibe in the rooms have definitely been more of like a euphoric celebration, lots of smiles, hugging, people arms in like tears, and I don't know, yeah, it just felt like people were reliving a moment. And I think,
Oh,
that's what music does, and especially having an album which came out 20 years ago and was not only just an album, it was kind of leading the pack for a generation of metalheads almost with a couple of other bands, and we were flying the flag for UK and European metal, and it means a lot to a lot of people, including ourselves. And I think, having people be in a room and hearing the songs again, not just like Your Tears Don't Fall now, but the entire thing, it's a different dynamic, and I think it just brought back a lot of amazing memories for a lot of people, including ourselves. And yeah, it's just music is a beautiful thing to bring people together and to relive amazing memory, even bad memories. It's good to have that as an out music as an outlet.
yeah.
That's kind of what the vibe was. It was euphoric. It was celebrate. It's like a celebration. You have to be there to kind of see what I'm on about, but that's the vibe. It's like
Yeah,
a metal
very much.
show, but with like beaming faces and just a lot of people just reliving a lot of stuff. That's what it felt like.
Oh yeah, and it's heading our way in October. Of course, you've got While She Sleeps and The Devil Wears Prada heading along too. What sort of energy do you think they'll bring along to the shows?
Oh, massive. That's why we kind of wanted like bands like that to be part of it. And thank you so much to those guys, if they're listening to this or they see it or whatever. We put this together pretty last minute for a tour. We don't usually roll like this. We usually planning 12 months in advance for
Yeah.
tours. But I contacted the bands personally and said, hey, this is on the cards. If we can make this happen, do you want to be part of it? And they were like 100%. So yeah, so we're super stoked, and they're just going to be bringing the energy and the passion and the aggression. And yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait, man. Those bands are sick. So we're super stoked they agreed to be part of it.
That is awesome. And speaking of bringing the energy, you guys had your very own hot sauce that you released, Matt. I was wondering, are you ever going to do a
Yeah,
live
man.
release of those?
Yeah, all those opportunities are always on the cards, you know. The company we did it with, Tubby Tom's, Tom is a friend of mine. We've got, quite pally over the last couple of years because he does a lot of collaborations with bands and products and hot sauce, and
Yeah.
he's a hardcore fan, so he's into kind of the harder side of music, and he's been a big Bullet fan, and just contacted him directly. I love his products. I love his vibe. And yeah, we did a couple of collaborations. We also did an IPA collaboration with a company called Salt here in the UK recently as well for the tour.
Yeah.
I did like a hazy IPA, 6.66%, like bespoke cans, bespoke, beverage. And yeah, it's cool when you can do those little things, they're fun things to do. And it tastes delicious too. So why not?
Oh, that is awesome. And like, I've got to say, Matt, you're responsible for probably the two greatest names, or right up there when it comes to metal band history. I feel Bullet for My Valentine, amazing. And also Axe Wound, right up there as well. Is there any
Yeah.
talk of ever doing more work with Axe Wound in the future?
Obviously, Jason being in Bullet for over 10 years now, we always talk about it in sound checks. We'll always jam some Axwin stuff. And we played a festival summer 2023, so a couple of years ago now, called 2000 Trees.
Yeah.
And Cancer Bats were playing it as well. So we actually rehearsed Cold, one of the Axwin songs, and Liam came up. So we did it on stage with Liam, which was amazing.
Amazing.
Went down really well. I'd love to, and we would all love to. It's just being in Bullet is just such a beast of a thing.
Yeah.
We're about to embark on the new album next week. I don't know, that was just a moment in time where we just kind of made it happen quick because it was just something that we felt we wanted to do for fun. I'd love to do something else. It's just finding the time. It doesn't exist in Bullet for My Valentine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard, man. But yeah, no, we'd love to. And it was such a cool thing to do. It was fun. It was, stepping out of the Bullet shoes as well was really nice for me creatively. Never
Yeah.
say never, you know?
Yeah. For now, it's just a nice little timepiece, I guess, Matt.
Yeah, that's all it is. It was a fun thing to do, and we did a couple of little tours with it and had some fun. And I scratched a creative itch with some really cool dudes who I've become lifelong friends with because of it. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, very cool. And your last record for Bullet for My Valentine, it was a hard hitting one. Looking ahead, you've
Mm.
and looking back at the same time, I guess you're doing these Poison shows. Are you looking to have a more nostalgic sound, or what's the sound that you envision going forward with this next one?
We're not going down the nostalgia. We're firmly looking forward to the next 20 years of Bullet for My Valentine. That's kind of why we're
Yeah.
having this Poser moment now, is to get out of our systems and to celebrate something, and then we can just put it to bed forever. People will still discover it, listen to it, enjoy it. We're still going to be playing the songs in the shows,
Yeah.
but we're firmly going to be setting our energy and our sights on the future. The sound at the moment is pretty contemporary. We've been messing around with a lot of crazy tunings just as a creative tool to see if it sparks anything. We haven't made any decisions on whether and well, what songs are going to do it. There's still a long way to go, but it's heavy. It's
Right.
heavy. I think it'll shock a lot of people, but in a nice way. I think it's always good to have kind of that kind of sucker punch moment with a new album. It's something we always try and do every record. People don't see certain things coming, and that's what we like. That's what kind of gets us excited, is to create something organically, but it's different enough that people go, "Whoa, this is Bullet. Okay, I like this." But it'll always have the Bullet DNA going through it. But we always like to, every album we do, we like to make it its own piece of work. We don't rely on the history or a certain song to kind of continue the success of the band. We're always trying to evolve.
Yeah, 100%. And it's heading our way next year, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're hopefully gonna be wrapping it up by Christmas. There's a lot to do. It's the timeline we've given ourselves is good. If it doesn't happen by Christmas, it doesn't. There's no pressure. But hopefully we'll have new music out by March, April next year, depending on when we decide we want to release it. Well, what we want to do as a touring cycle is the first thing. There's a lot of planning that goes into something like this, but our focus at the minute is just the creation of it and the recording of it. And everything else then will fall into place naturally as time progresses.
Oh yeah, that's got me very much excited for it. So March, April next
Yeah,
year,
man.
fingers crossed. And you
Yes.
represent metal big time. You were talking about it just a little bit earlier. Actually, when I Googled your name, Matt, the first thing that comes up is you hanging a finger sign. It's quite funny on the Google images. I'm like, that man is very metal. But I wanted to ask, what's the most un-metal thing that you have on your phone camera roll?
Probably my dog Max. He's a Pomeranian.
Oh, he's
So he's about this big and probably about this big when he's wet. And he's like just just for, so he's probably the most unheavy metal dog you could ever imagine. But he's my boy. And I love him to death, and he's just the best little thing, you know.
Oh, I love that. So just before I let you go, what's life outside of music consist of for you, Matt? Hanging out at the gym, I assume, and with the pup?
Yeah, mainly dad husband duties. You know, I sacrifice a lot of time, and my family put up with a lot being in a band. You know, I'm away a lot. It's stressful, you know, but so when I'm home, I'm just Matt, the dad and the husband. Just try to give all my time and attention to my family. You know, when the boys are in school and nursery, I go to the gym and have me time and keep my head and my body, you know, focused. Just give everything that I owe them to them as much as I can. You know, they put up with a lot. Having a husband and a father who's in a rock band, you know. So when I'm home, I just like to dedicate my time to them.
Yeah, very well said right there, Matt. Well, you can catch these guys. It is Bullet for My Valentine heading our way this October with While She Sleeps and The Devil Wears Prada. October 15, John Cain Arena in Melbourne. The 16th at Hordern Pavilion in Sydney. And wrapping things up on the 18th, Riverstage in Brisbane. Pick those tickets up through destroyallines.com. Matt, thanks so much for taking time out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.